Eagle News Canada. I'm Archie Rose Natividad Yi, coming to you from Vancouver in the province of British Columbia, Canada, bringing you news and commentary from across the country. Here are some of the stories we'll cover today. Health officials are optimistic over vaccine distribution across Canada. Pandemic prompts recent immigrants to leave Canada. Canada approves fourth COVID-19 vaccine. Ontario expands mental health supports for Indigenous peoples and communities. And in sports, Zion Williamson, Zach LaVine, Stephen Curry prepare for the NBA All-Star Game. Now over to our top stories. Health officials are optimistic over vaccine distribution across Canada. Canada has now topped over 887,000 cases of the COVID-19 virus. As the one-year anniversary of the pandemic nears in Canada, Dr. Theresa Tam, Chief Public Health Officer, remains optimistic over the vaccines distributed across Canada, sharing that, quote, as of March 5th, over 2.2 million doses of COVID-19 vaccines had been administered across Canada. Federal, provincial, and territorial authorities are working closely together to monitor vaccine safety following immunization with COVID-19 vaccines. To date, no unexpected vaccine safety issues have been identified. With mass vaccination programs underway, provinces are preparing to lift government lockdown restrictions. Starting today, the provinces of Ontario, Quebec, and New Brunswick will lift restrictions after maintaining a hold on stable or decreasing number of cases. In Ontario, the regions of Toronto, Peel, and North Bay will lift stay-at-home orders. Over in Quebec, almost all of the province will move from red zone to orange, with the exception of the following regions: Montreal, Laval, the Laurentians, Lanaudière, and Montérégie, which are all staying in the red zone. As for New Brunswick, it will transition to yellow alert, with residents being able to expand their contacts for up to 10 to 15 people, along with team sports activities now able to resume. Pandemic prompts recent immigrants to leave Canada. In other news, the economic and life disruption caused by the COVID-19 pandemic has prompted some recent immigrants to leave Canada and return to their countries of origin, where they have more social and family connections. The data show that the number of permanent residents who have been in Canada for 5 to 10 years have decreased by 24,000 from 2019 to 2020. According to Robert Falconer, a researcher at the University of Calgary School of Public Policy, quote, it's actually not uncommon to have immigrants go back to their home country during the recessionary periods. He said many of those who have left in the past year might not come back if the economy does not recover quickly. A study by Statistics Canada released in August showed that in the early months of the pandemic, recent immigrants to Canada were more likely than Canadian-born workers to lose their jobs, mainly because they had held them for less time, and as a whole are overrepresented in lower wage employment, which includes in-service sector jobs. Falconer said the government should address problems with licensing and professional development that many newcomers face in Canada, as it is difficult for immigrants to work in the same profession in Canada as they did in their home country. The Canadian government has approved a fourth COVID-19 vaccine. Joining us is Eagle News correspondent Thomas I. Likeness with the details. Hello, Thomas.
Well, good evening, Archie Rose. You're right. Canada has added another weapon to its arsenal in the battle against COVID-19. Now, as the week ended, Prime Minister Trudeau told the country that Health Canada has approved the Janssen vaccine. That's the one made by Johnson & Johnson.
Be stored and This is a single-dose vaccine. It can be stored and transported at regular refrigerated temperatures from 2 to 8 degrees Celsius, which makes it easier to distribute across the country. As with all of the other vaccines we have secured, we're working to get doses to Canadians as quickly as possible.
Trudeau says the government has placed an order for 10 million doses of the inoculant. Now, Johnson & Johnson has until September to fill that order. The vaccine can be used on anyone over the age of 18, including seniors. Health Canada has been studying it since the end of November and says it is 66% effective in preventing symptomatic COVID-19 beginning 2 weeks after vaccination. Trudeau has reassured Canadians the government's still on track to immunize anyone who wants to be by the end of September, and he says he's quite certain there'll be enough medicine in the cupboard.
There are now 4 safe and effective vaccines approved by independent regulators in Canada. We have agreements with all 4 companies making these doses, and we also have agreements with 3 additional companies for their potential vaccines. Today, we also have some great news to share about Pfizer vaccine shipments. Pfizer has informed us that we are able to move up the delivery of 3.5 million doses from the summer into the next couple of months. Pfizer will be delivering an additional 1.5 million doses to Canada this March, moving deliveries ahead of schedule. We'll also be getting another 1 million doses ahead of schedule in both April and May.
The first doses of Johnson & Johnson are expected to arrive early next month. In Edmonton, Canada, Thomas I. Likeness, Eagle News. We live in interesting times. Back to you, Archie.
Thank you, Thomas. So please tell us, do you think Canadians will shop for a specific vaccine given the differences in effectiveness?
Oh, they'll probably try, but you know, at this point, I don't think that's possible. We've got such a limited supply, so what you're offered is what you'll get. The only exception will be for seniors over 65. They will not be given the AstraZeneca vaccine, and that's because of a lack of clinical evidence, and that's in some provinces. But otherwise, what you're offered is what you get. Perhaps later on, when most of the population is vaccinated, there might be an opportunity for that. But keep in mind, where we're at right now, the best vaccine is the one you'll get because it'll offer you a degree of protection. Archie?
Now, despite the fact that, there is a collection of vaccines available to Canadians, what about the variants? Are the vaccines going to be effective against these?
Well, so far, the initial studies showing the vaccines that have been approved recognize the variants, but the effectiveness isn't as great. Now, researchers are tweaking the biochemistry to offer more protection against these highly contagious mutations, something we might have in the future, booster shots, maybe kind of like upgrading your antivirus software on your computer. And some have suggested that COVID shots might become an annual thing, like the common flu shot. Still far too early to speculate on all of that. The important thing is to get immunized as quickly as possible so that you have some level of protection.
Well, thank you for that. Now, there has been conversations around vaccine passports. Will people have to prove they've been immunized against COVID-19 to travel internationally?
Well, right now, they have to prove that they're negative, with the PCR test that many countries require them to take before they're allowed entry. But in a media report today, we heard Health Minister Patty Hajdu say vaccine passports are an ongoing discussion that she's had with her counterparts among the G7 countries. Personally, I think it's inevitable. After going through more than 12 months of pandemic, countries are going to want to stop that virus from hitching a ride across their borders. And there's still the question of whether vaccinated people could be asymptomatic carriers of the virus. In other words, you could be vaccinated, but you could still carry the virus, showing no symptoms yourself. You have the immunity, but you also act as a carrier. And there'll likely be some opposition from some saying you can't force me to have a vaccine. It's against my rights. That's true in this country. But remember, when you travel to another country, your Canadian rights do not apply. They don't apply at all. I think really, until there's an effective treatment for COVID, we're halfway there. We get the vaccine, but the other side of the coin is an effective treatment. I think until that day arrives, nations are going to be very cautious about who they're letting in. And for many countries, if you're not vaccinated, I suspect you're not going to be welcome. Archie?
Thank you for that, Thomas. Now, lastly, are you looking forward to getting vaccinated? As a Canadian, we have
I'm going to tell you something. I am looking forward to it. In 2 weeks, I can book my appointment. I've been under house arrest since the summer. By house arrest, not by the police. The warden here is my wife. The only difference, though, is I don't have to wear an ankle bracelet. I'm in that high-risk group, so I'm not allowed out of the house very much. And I'm so looking forward to getting vaccinated, and then I'll be able to wander around a little bit more. How about you, Archie?
Definitely looking forward to getting my vaccine as well, but we are definitely, I think across the board, everybody's just looking forward to being able to have that freedom once they've been immunized.
No doubt. Well, you take care, and thanks for having me on your show today.
Thanks for your report, Thomas. Ontario looks to expand mental health and addiction services for Indigenous peoples and communities across the country. Here's Eagle News correspondent Ashley Sakmar with the report.
On March 4th, officials from Ontario, Canada announced that the province will be investing $12.8 million to expand mental health and addiction services for Indigenous peoples and communities across the province. Ontario claims that the funding will go towards enhancing community-based mental health supports and services, as well as programs that focus on Indigenous children and youth. However, on March 3rd, Alvin Fiddler, Anishinaabe Aski Nation Grand Chief and member of the Muskrat Dam First Nation, released a statement addressed to Ontario Premier Doug Ford. This is in regards to the sudden closure of 26 youth justice facilities across the province. Many of the youths in these facilities are Indigenous. Take a listen. Like any other child, and as a matter of basic humanity, these children need to be as close as possible to their families and communities. Now we have children being shackled and flown to distant regions of the province without appropriate notice or transition planning, and without any regard to the long-term impact that this will have on them, their families, and their communities. This is nothing less than tragic and unacceptable. NDP critic for Indigenous and Treaty Relations Sol Mamakwa Kiwetnong also released a statement regarding the abrupt closure of the centers. Take a listen. The Ford government has once again demonstrated that it doesn't care about the lives of Indigenous youth and their families. This will make the child welfare to prison pipeline in our province even worse, and is another example of institutional anti-Indigenous racism and colonialism within the child welfare and youth justice systems. More young people will be put at risk, and this will do nothing to help them rebuild their lives with the support they need from their families and communities. As of Friday, March 5th, the Ontario government still has yet to respond to the aforementioned statements. In Toronto, Ashley Sakmar, Eagle News. We live in interesting times.
Thanks, Ashley. There is more news to come. You're watching Eagle News Canada.
Innovation, digital disruption, globalization. Startups, micro, small, and medium enterprises, as well as large corporations, all face interesting challenges in the market today. Peek into the world of exciting opportunities and partnerships to drive growth with the latest business news and information. We are open for business. Your weekly dose of entrepreneurial inspiration to update you on the latest developments in the world of business. Get up close and personal with CEOs and thought leaders to help you discover valuable insights. Sharpen your instincts for smart decision making with the latest markets and economic trends, disruptive ideas, global innovation, social entrepreneurship, and other leading-edge business ideas. Join the conversations to create a more vibrant environment for entrepreneurship. Catch Open for Business, from vision to action.
Events happen around us all the time, in our community, in our country, around the world. Events that affect people, move communities, or simply inspire us. Interesting events that people need to know. In these interesting times, we continue to be a competent partner in delivering news about these events. Fast, accurate, balanced. Eagle News, because we live in interesting times.
You are an excellent performer. Grabe, napakahusay.
Napatunayan mo sarili mo na talagang kaya mong kumanta in front of the television.
The very best!
Magaling na coach ang forever mo.
Ito po ang Bagong Sinigaling Part 2 Singing Edition.
Welcome back. You're watching Eagle News Canada. I'm Archie Rose, Natividad Yi from Vancouver, British Columbia. We now go to Hawaii and join Eagle News correspondent Alfred Asenes of our EBC Hawaii Bureau as he takes his family in a drive-through vaccination and shares his first-hand experience of the process. Take a look.
Our journey to the vaccine actually began a couple of weeks prior by going online to set up an appointment, as walk-ins are not yet available at this time. On the day of our appointment, we drove up to the check-in point to make sure our names were on the list before proceeding further. So I'm taking my first dose of the COVID-19 vaccine today here in Central Oahu. We'll see how this works. And guess who else is with me? That's right. The rest of the team. So we'll see what happens after this. So the only way to find out the effects of this shot is to just go through the motion and figure it out for myself. So here we go.
Relax your arm for me.
All right, I gotta relax the arm, just like as if I were taking a flu shot. Nothing to it. Just just focus on my talking. And there you go. I'm done. One of two anyway. Thank you. Not surprisingly, some of us react differently to needles altogether.
How do you feel? All right. I know, I just don't like shots.
I know, but you're not gonna feel any, like,
no,
sit
Bandit.
down!
Do you want a better?
Thank you.
Here we go.
See? Barely, right?
Yeah.
So we're approaching the front part of the waiting area after we took our first COVID-19 shots. If you see the smudge kind of on my windshield, it says 11:09. Actually, if you read it from the other side, that's the time we're allowed to drive off. That's the end of the 15-minute mark. Meanwhile, the rest of our team continue to do their part in protecting themselves against the virus. Reporting from Honolulu, Hawaii, Alfred Asenes, Eagle News. We live in interesting times.
In sports, being an all-star is one of many goals that NBA players would love to accomplish. Zion Williamson and Zach LaVine will have that experience for the first time in Atlanta. Plus, Steph Curry and LeBron James will be teammates for the first time in their careers. Eagle News correspondent Tenny Sumagi joins us to talk more about the NBA All-Star Game. Hello, Tenny.
Hello, Archie. And we'll first start with the Pelicans, Zion Williamson, and the Bulls, Zach LaVine. The forwards finally are all-stars and are ready to soak in the experience.
I think the best memories usually are, as a kid, who can make the most spectacular play. Stuff like that, because, it's an all-star game. But what is it going to be like playing with some of those guys that I watch? It's going to be dope. I'm going to take the experience in, enjoy it moment by moment. When I get a chance, I'm going to, nitpick at some of those older guys' mind on, how did their mind develop over, the course of their career? What did they learn more? Because, I just like to ask questions like that.
That means a lot. It's an honor. Obviously, a lot of hard work goes into this, and when you finally break through it, you feel the love and the recognition. For my family, I think that's the main thing for me that's made me happy. Just to see a look on their face and to see how proud they are. That's more than worth it for me. And for the organization, I think it's great. Showing that we have another all-star in a place that's building something special, and that players want to be able to come here and show it. So I'm very happy for that.
Curry's back as an all-star and played for Team LeBron. The all-star guard shares how excited he is to play alongside the King for the first time in his career. Take a look.
Love to get that experience, having played against him for the last 12 years, and obviously in the finals and all that back and forth and all-star games and whatnot. So, it'll be dope to compete, go out here, try to get this win, represent Team LeBron. It's gonna be a pretty cool experience. We got a stacked team, and ready to go out there and just enjoy ourselves and get a brand new experience that me and him have never had before. Should be pretty.
We have final updates from Atlanta. Team LeBron dominates over Team Durant 170-150 with Bucks forward Giannis Antetokounmpo taking the Kobe Bryant MVP award. Curry dominates over Mike Conley of the Jazz to take the three-point contest. Domantas Sabonis takes the Taco Skills Challenge, and Portland Trailblazers Anthony Simon takes the Slam Dunk Contest. In New York, Tenny Sumagi, Eagle News, we live in interesting times. Back to you, Archie.
Thank you, Tenny. Of course, it's amazing to hear some of these players having their dreams come true, playing along with their legends, their idols. We have a couple minutes here, Tenny. Tell us, who are your favorite all-stars at the moment?
Okay, I'm going to categorize them, Archie. So let's start with the cutest.
I like that.
The cutest. That's got to go to Luka Doncic of the Dallas Mavs. I mean, this guy will be the next all-star. This guy mimics after LeBron James. So I believe that he's going to be the next superstar in the league to come. Let's see. I have to give props to my New York Knicks forward, Julius Randle, for making his first all-star appearance, and he's just revived the New York Knicks basketball. So things at Madison Square Garden are looking pretty bright after how many years of laughter and failure with the New York Knicks. And let's go to we'll keep it in New York. How about the Brooklyn Nets? And you should like them, Archie, because Steve Nash is from British Columbia, their head coach. But now that they acquired former All-Star Blake Griffin, I truly believe now that they will win this year's NBA title. You can't go wrong with Durant, Kyrie, the Beard, and company. So I would say those are my favorites at the moment. And of course, Steph Curry. You can't go wrong with the Splash Brother. Glad to see him back in the All-Star game.
Yes, with Durant's team, it definitely sounds like a stacked team and really exciting things to look forward to. So thank you for joining us in the show today.
Thank you, Archie.
Well, that's our program for today. Join us again next week as we bring stories that matter to you. Visit our website at eaglenews.net and eaglenewslive.com. Also follow us on Twitter, Facebook, and on YouTube. Thank you for watching. I am Archie Rose, the TV Dad Yi. We live in interesting times.
It's time to take one step further and face the impossible. Time to search the unknown and fight for the truth. Time to overcome boundaries and connect the world. It's time for DW News.
Hey there, Arnie Aquino here at Hatley Castle, one of the filming locations for the X-Men series. Don't forget to tune in to Digital Nest only on Net25.
Hi, Althea.
Anong ginagawa mo dito?
Diba, you said yes to lunch?
Yang kapatid ko, mahal na mahal ko yan. Kapag masaya siya, marami siya naiisip na business strategy. Kaya gusto ko, lagi siyang masaya.
Mukha naman siyang masaya.
Lalo ngayon, kasama sila ng kapatid mo. Kung mapapanatili ng kapatid mo ng masaya ang kapatid ko, done deal na ang clothing brand mo.
Binibenta mo ang kapatid mo. Ano? Para makuha mo ang investment ni Stefan?
Dalaga si Althea. Pinata si Adonis. Kapag nagkagustuhan sila, everybody's happy.
Pero wag na wag mong isusugal ang puso ng kapatid mo, Odette. Binabalaan kita!
Dear Althea, remembering your wonderful dad and wishing you comfort from Benedict.
Dear Benedict, thank you for reaching out at this difficult time. Althea.
Hello, and welcome to Eagle News International Australia Oceania. I'm Diego Madronio from Gold Coast, bringing you stories from Australia, New Zealand, and Papua New Guinea. These are the headlines. New South Wales vaccine rollout in its second week. Rioting and looting strike in several provinces of Papua New Guinea. COVID-19 restrictions relaxed in New South Wales schools. Logan City unveils plan for 2032 Olympics. Filipino students in Macquarie University promote Filipino culture. And Townsville's Anderson Gardens offer a walk to enjoy the dry topics. For our first story, COVID-19 vaccines are continually being distributed throughout Australia. We have our correspondent from Sydney, Shane Reyes, to give us the updates on the ongoing rollout in New South Wales. Shane?
Starting from the 1st of March, the state of New South Wales can expect to receive the next batch of new COVID-19 vaccines over the next 10 days. The federal government will work with new Premier Gladys Berejiklian in devising a rollout plan for the second delivery of vaccines. Federal Health Minister Greg Hunt has been in talks with New South Wales State Government regarding more details about the delivery of vaccines, which revealed a joint effort by two manufacturers, namely Pfizer and AstraZeneca, as the provision of vaccines. By second week of March, the vaccine rollout is expected to be another 14,000 doses. Since local residents are expected to receive the AstraZeneca vaccine, the rollout is anticipated to be a slow and gradual process. Due to lack of information being provided to the state government, there are delays in planning a clear strategy to administer the vaccines already at hand. Federal Health Minister made a statement that Pfizer will assist in creating a thorough and detailed plan by the end of March, hoping to mass produce vaccines more efficiently. The initial rollout plan started on the 22nd of February and consisted of approximately 35,000 Pfizer vaccines. These were given out exclusively to all essential workers such as health staff, airport workers, cleaners, and police officers. The second rollout is expected to begin with targeting the aged care facilities to help minimize the spread between the most vulnerable groups of people. With a third shipment received from Pfizer, adding to the 300,000 vaccines from AstraZeneca, New South Wales have become a leader in speed of its vaccination program in terms of national rollout. Until the federal and state government have come to an agreement on an effective rollout plan, the vaccines have yet to be distributed and administered to many of the locals in New South Wales. However, it is believed that it will not be long before action is taken as New South Wales aims to retain normality within society. Reporting from Sydney, Australia, this is Shane Reyes, Eagle News. We live in interesting times.
Thank you, Shane. We hope for a continued success of Australia's vaccination endeavours. Meanwhile, in Papua New Guinea, tensions are high following the death of Prime Minister Michael Somare. Rioting has been reported in the regions of Port Moresby and Lae, as police scramble to gain control of the situation and restore peace. Our Eagle News correspondent Echo Hortaleza Quinola has more on the situation. Echo?
The Papua New Guinea government declared public holidays for grieving the loss of the founder of Papua New Guinea's independence, ex-Prime Minister and Grand Chief Michael Somare. However, instead of using the holidays to solemnly mourn, terrible opportunists took advantage of rioting and looting in several provinces of Papua New Guinea.
The scheduled public holiday in Papua New Guinea brought an awful situation in some provinces of the country. Rioters and looters, particularly in Port Moresby, Lae, and in Kavig, attacked shop owners and destroyed cars and other important belongings. They believe that no shops and business firms should be open and be of service to the public. These people were reported to be angered by disobeying or disrespecting the call of the government to totally mourn for Sir Michael Somare's passing.
All Papua New Guinea came to stand still to show their last respect, while the others were opening up for business. That's why people were in their mindset, they thought, why did they do that when the Grand Chief passed? So in that case, they looted all the stores at Gordon's, and some other happenings were happening at Tumai Hill, Badeli, those areas in Port Moresby. Back in Lae too, all right, I think we need to increase security, and also when we say a national holiday, everybody need to comply to that national holiday. The best way to handle the looters, maybe in the future, if there is a national holiday, business houses should shut down, comply to what has been set. Or by security perspective, we need to increase security on ground. If there is a public holiday and somebody wants to open up for business, we have to increase police presence, or even the security guard, like myself.
The local residents wish for looters and rioters should stop. Papua New Guineans believe that the Grand Chief will not be pleased with this kind of uncivilized behavior if he was alive. Meanwhile, the body of the Grand Chief, Michael Somare, will be flown on a charter flight and will be laid to rest on March 12 in his hometown, Carrere Heights, Welac. He will not be buried in the capital city of Port Moresby, where high-ranking officials of this land laid to rest. His family and the Papua New Guinea's present administration will grant Sir Somare's last wish to be brought to his beautiful and adorable province, where he calls my home.
Being united as one country, one nation, and one people is the best way to honor Sir Somare's good governance. He gave more than 60 years of his life in serving the people of Papua New Guinea, in which we must treasure. Reporting from Port Moresby, Papua New Guinea, this is Echo Hortaleza Quinola, Eagle News. We live in interesting times.
Thank you, Echo. We wish you safety and may the situation there improve. Back in Australia, students in New South Wales returning to school campuses following the summer break will be glad to hear that COVID-19 restrictions are easing up as a result of Australia's successful campaign against the virus. Our correspondent Rhea May David is here to report more on the story. Rhea?
As COVID-19 remains under control in New South Wales, further restrictions have been relaxed following consecutive days of 0 cases. New South Wales Premier Gladys Berejiklian announced changes to COVID-19 restrictions in New South Wales schools. The changes of restrictions include parents allowed on school grounds and activities such as singing while dancing. Parents are also allowed to attend school sporting events, and limitations in group singing and in-class and chanting have been permitted. Schools are also allowed to host and facilitate dance classes, balls, formals, and social events, as well as gatherings for parents and the community members for the school events such as P&C meetings. The advice remains for everyone to continue adhering to COVID-safe instructions to do their part for the community. Education Minister Sarah Mitchell advised parents that despite the easing of COVID restrictions, parents must continue to function in a COVID-safe way. Despite the successful achievement in managing COVID-19 throughout New South Wales schools, there is still no room for complacency. Reporting from Sydney, Australia, this is Rhea May David, Eagle News. We live in interesting times.
Thank you, Rhea. We wish the students the best as they head into this school year. After the break, let's hear about Logan City's plans for the 2032 Olympics. Plus, we will learn of Filipino students in Sydney's Macquarie University as they promote Filipino culture. And let's explore Townsville's Anderson Gardens as they offer a walk to enjoy the dry tropics. All these stories when Eagle News International Australia Oceania returns. Stay with us.
Ang batang laro lang yan. Ayaw namin ng kuya kampo niyan.
Baguhin mo nga yung ugali mo sa kalusugan. Hindi maganda yun.
Okay lang maglaro dito sa Plaza Rodolfo, pero ang magkalat, bawal! Ikaw ba lahat kumain yan? Ikaw ba karat yan lahat?
Hindi tama yung ginagawa mo, Bebeng, ha?
Sana, lahat na lang ng mga tao dito sa Barangay Aguila maging batang tulad ko.
Hi, Bebeng!
What?
Sumaya tayong lahat.
Factual.
We have to defeat the virus everywhere.
Timely information. Balanced. Not only in the country, but also abroad.
I'm certain of one thing.
Interviews that people need to know. Watch Aguila Pilipinas. A 1-hour newscast of reports coming from regional hubs in Luzon, Visayas, and Mindanao. Know the important updates in Asia in ASEAN in Focus. Track the latest stories in the provinces in Aguila Provincia.
Sa mga taga-Iloilo at Antique.
Tune into Mata ng Agila, the evening primetime news program of Net25. Balanced and objective, Mata ng Agila covers national and international issues, tackles news on business, health, science and technology, entertainment, sports and human interest features, and current events. And Eagle News International delivers the latest global reports, impartial, accessible, and up-to-date. It brings to fore EBC's rich international scope and access to valuable information streams.
Well, thank you to explaining our health outdoor track.
Catch these programs on Net25. You can also watch our news programs through eaglenews.ph and Eagle News Facebook page and YouTube channel.
Welcome back. You are watching Eagle News International Australia Oceania. With the International Olympic Committee announcing Brisbane in Queensland, Australia as the preferred candidate to host the 2032 Olympics, the Mayor of Logan City has high hopes and great expectations for the event. Our correspondent from Logan, Miyako Ong, is here to elucidate the details. Miyako?
The state of Queensland is set to be the next venue for the Olympic 2032. In the city of Logan, rapid development opened plenty of opportunities for the Olympics. With employment, infrastructures, and investments can make Olympics happen in Logan in 2032. Olympic competitions and training such as canoe slalom, boxing, and freestyle BMX is believed to be hosted in Logan, according to Mayor Darren Power. Hosting of events, catalytic transport infrastructures, accommodations, training venues, and legacy-related opportunities will be developed as the Logan story to boost Logan's tourism and infrastructure. City Mayor Darren Power believes that this could be a game changer for the city of Logan, Queensland, and Australia. The City Council has invested effort, time, and money to have a positive outcome for Logan City. The Logan City Council has planned an outdoor adventure in Whitewater Park that could also be a key opportunity for Olympics in the city of Logan. The indoor sports venue, Outdoor Adventure in Whitewater Park, is located at the west of the city in areas that has significant population growth, such as Yarrabilba and Greater Flagstone. The Logan City Council has also considered upgrading the Beanley's Dolassen Park's BMX Park in 2019. This upgrade is Australia's first international standard skate and BMX park. Its design is based off the FICE World Series arena in the 2020 Tokyo Olympic Games. Even this pandemic, the City of Logan and its council continue planning for better events and activities to be held in the city. With this event, jobs, infrastructures, and investments will be made. Reporting from Logan, Australia, this is Miyako Ong, Eagle News, and we live in interesting times.
Thank you, Miyako. The buzz surrounding the 2032 Olympics surely promises a successful and exciting event. Back in New South Wales, universities are known as places that cultivate knowledge and trade skills. A group of students in Sydney's Macquarie University are also propagating a sense of pride by proudly promoting the Filipino culture. Eagle News correspondent Jamie Lynette Tolentino is here with more details. Jamie?
Embracing and valuing their culture, Filipino students in Macquarie University here in Sydney share importance of Filipino culture in every student in campus. Creating the Society Filipino Student Society of Macquarie University, also known as FSS, they aim to welcome both Filipino and non-Filipino students who are interested in learning about the cultural heritage of the Philippines.
I've been with FSS MQU since last semester as a member, and I actually ended up joining the team last semester. It was actually through a friend of mine who recommended me to join the team since they had a Director of IT role open. And actually I'm studying a Bachelor of IT at the moment, so I thought it would be of my greatest interest to gain some knowledge and gain some experiences in which I can take to my future employment. And not only that, I can also gain some friendships along the way with my fellow Filipinos.
By appointing online activities, fundraising, social gatherings, and having a partnership with other societies to promote about the cultural heritage of the Philippines.
And I'm the current Director of Social Cultural Engagement at FSS, and my role is to basically create events for the society. So I've been a member of FSS for around 6 months now, and I mostly joined because I was kind of looking for that sense of community and that sense of belonging or support system, especially considering how I've never been to Australia before, and studying in an entirely new environment is something that can be really difficult. So it's good to be able to have that group or that sense of belonging with people who are similar to you and who share certain values and certain traits. And I think that that sense of community and support system that FSS provides for its members as well.
Filipino Student Society of Macquarie University held several events to show the Filipino culture to everyone. They participated in a week of Macquarie University, welcoming all the new members, having social gatherings or online gatherings. They also held Palarong Pinoy, karaoke nights, and FSS Got Talent.
I can't speak for the founding members of FSS, but what I do know is that the society was established as there needed to be a student body who was passionate enough to bring together the Filipino community here within the Macquarie University community. And so we've been continuing to do so up to this point, and we will continue to do so in the future. And
By participating to these activities, all Filipino and non-Filipino members feel the presence of the Philippines. Because of this society, Philippines and its culture are very well known around the campus, and the members are gradually increasing tremendously. So if you're studying in Macquarie University and is interested in learning about Filipino culture, then perhaps Filipino Student Society of Macquarie University is just for you. Reporting from Young Australia, this is Jamie Lynette Tolentino, Eagle News. We live interesting times.
Thank you, Jamie. Seeing the Filipino culture being represented fills us with nationalistic pride. Heading on to Townsville in Queensland. Boasting 25 hectares of land, the Anderson Gardens are known as Australia's largest botanical gardens. Famous for its dry tropical plants and species native to that climate, the park is sure to be an exciting experience for those who wish to visit. Our correspondent Alyssa Ventura has more to say. Alyssa?
Taking a walk outside here in Townsville's Anderson Gardens to enjoy the fresh air and greeneries might be a way to break out of our mundane routines. This park is dubbed as the largest garden here in the city, boasting its diverse collection of flora. Let's take a look and see what this place has to offer. Anderson Gardens was first initiated around the early 1930s after the original land was acquired from the Water and Electricity Supply Department. The place was named after William Anderson, the first curator of parks here in the city of Townsville. The park measures 25 hectares in a rectangular shape, making it the biggest garden in the city. It boasts natural and resilient beauty of the dry tropics through its diverse collection of native flora found within the region. Anderson's Gardens is known for its vast cultivated collection of pandanus, a group of palm-like trees which are all grouped together in various feature areas including Cape York Collection, Roadside Kid Garden, Giant's Walk, Grand Avenues, and tropical orchid and economic plants. Anderson Gardens is located in the suburb of Mandingbara, a 15-minute drive from the city's central business district. The park also offers facilities such as picnic areas, 10,000 steps track, internal car parking, and parkland spaces for events. The gates of this place are open to the public between sunrise and sunset. We hope you all have enjoyed our small excursion here in Anderson's Gardens. Reporting from Townsville, Australia, this is Alyssa Ventura, Eagle News. We live in interesting times.
Thank you, Alyssa, for taking us through those beautiful sights. And that concludes today's program. Thank you for watching Eagle News International Australia Oceania. Join us again next time as we share more stories from our bureaus across Australia, New Zealand, and Papua New Guinea. Visit our websites on eaglenews.net and eaglenewslive.com. Follow us on twitter.com/eaglenews and on facebook.com/eaglenews. Stay safe, stay strong, and take care, everyone. From Gold Coast, Australia, I'm Diego Madronio, Eagle News. We live in interesting times.
It is now time to build confidence. Obviously, we reached a stage wherein the situation has affected all aspects of life. We are overwhelmed by the flood of information all around. This has in effect created a sense of uncertainty and put all of us in a vulnerable position. But we must not allow COVID to take away the very way of life of our citizens, nor take away the hope from us that we will overcome this together. There is no such thing as too much caution or too much preparation, and therefore we must be fully prepared. For all of us, the global COVID crisis revealed three fundamental issues that are common challenges. We ask ourselves, how will we be better prepared, provide stronger frontline support? How do we build more robust coordination in all fronts? How do we keep our guard up in the months ahead and balance life in the new normal? And on sufficiency, how do we adjust ourselves to live without the overindulgence of the pre-COVID world? And there are underlying challenges of producing a vaccine, of boosting the post-COVID economy in the long term towards a future of global sustainability. Fighting COVID is now a global social responsibility, not only as citizens of your own countries, but as citizens of the world. It takes leadership and sacrifice and discipline from all of us. It is often said that in times of crisis, the true character of a person is revealed. We will together show the world our character. Have faith in each other, and wherever you call home, let's re-emerge stronger and better. We've learned many lessons, and next time around, we hope to improve and take crisis communication to a whole new level. This is all I have for the English language summary of the daily press briefing for today. We'll see you again on Monday. Have a very pleasant afternoon. Please keep tab of the news and the announcement over the weekend. So hope for your full cooperation until then and beyond. So thank you very much. Sawasdee krap.
May sakit na lumalaganap, lunas di pa nahahanap. May paraan para wag kumalat, kaalaman ay ipamalas.